Hi, I'm David Loeb. I'd like to review the new alert and announcement procedures that went into effect on January 1st. So with transfers, instead of announcing transfer, you mention the name of the suit. You no longer have to alert a support double. Uncontested natural jump shifts are no longer alerted, no matter the strength. When you open a minor, and it could be two or less, you announce the minimum expected length. Direct Q bids that are not Michaels must now be alerted. If your partnership commonly bypasses a major, that must be announced. And when you have a delayed alert, it is mandatory that you disclose that, you alert or announce after the auction is completed, and you provide an explanation even if you're not asked. So let's look at the transfers. It used to be that when you made a transfer bid, like a Jacoby transfer, you would announce transfer. Now you announce the suit shown. So that applies in a Jacoby transfer, as shown in the second bullet, a Texas transfer, as shown in the third bullet, a Texas transfer in competition, as shown in the fourth bullet. And if you place something like transfer Lebensal, as shown in the last bullet, the three diamond bid in competition after the one no opening would show an invitational or better hand with five or more hearts. And that now must be announced as hearts. Support doubles are not alerted anymore. They used to be alerted as of last year. Uh, and the alert would be explained as showing exactly three card support. They are not alertable anymore, so there's no alert, there is no announcement. If the opponents want to know about the bid, they need to ask. Natural jump shift responses are not alerted anymore. So it used to be the case that if you made a weak jump shift, for instance, that you would need to alert that. And when you were asked, you would explain it as natural and weak. The expected meaning of a jump shift is a strong jump shift typically. Now there is no alert, no announcement, no matter the strength of a natural jump shift. So if a jump shift is conventional, then it must be alerted. So for instance, if you play reverse Flannery, your jump to two hearts shows not only hearts, but it shows five or more spades. So it must be alerted and disclosed as such. If you open a minor, and it could be a two card suit or less, you must announce it. And the way you announce it is could be as short as, so for instance, a lot of partnerships play that a one diamond opening promises a four card or longer suit. If so, then if they have a 4-4-3-2 distribution with two clubs and three diamonds, they would open one club. So their one club opening could be as short as two, and that's what their announcement needs to be. So they'd open one club, and the announcement would be could be as short as two. If your minor suit opening is artificial, that still must be alerted. For example, if you're playing a strong club system, you would alert your artificial strong one club opening and explain it as such. Furthermore, if you are playing a strong club system, that now requires a pre-alert. So you would disclose that to your opponents when you start around against them. Now, an exception to where a two club opening would be alerted or would not require an alert would be that if it is natural but not strong, or if it is strong and it guarantees club length. So in either of those cases, you would will alert the strong two clubs. If your two club opening is strong and it could contain length in any suit, then it require an alert. That would be the expected meaning of the bid. Direct Q bids must now be alerted if they're not Michaels. So when you have a direct Q bid, and by direct we mean that the opponent after the opener is the opener's left-hand opponent is the one making the Q bid, the expected meaning of that is Michaels. So if they open a major, the Q bid typically shows 5 or more cards in the other major and 5 or more cards in an undisclosed minor. And if that is the meaning of your Q bid, the standard Michaels meaning, then you don't have to alert it. If it has some other meaning, you must alert the Michaels Q bid. If you open a minor, the standard meaning for Michaels would be 5-5 in the majors. So if that is the meaning, then you don't have to alert that. If you sometimes flex and have 5-4, that's not a big issue, but you would need to explain your style if asked. But if it doesn't show both majors, then you need to alert it. Another common topic is bypassing 4-card majors. So for instance, if you play Flannery and you open 1 heart, your responder with 4 spades may well bypass their 4-card spade suit because you're going to reverse if you actually have the strong hand with spades. Otherwise you don't have spades, so they don't need to show it. Well, the opponents have every right to that information, the same as you have. So when you make your 1-no response, you should announce could have 4 spades. So that's very common for Flannery players. Also, pairs that play a Walsh style in their auctions, they will show their major if they have less than a game forcing hand. If they have a game forcing hand, they will tend to bid naturally. So they might be bidding up the line with a game forcing hand. So in an auction where you're playing wall style and the auction begins 1 club past 1 diamond, opener with a balanced minimum will just simply bid 1 no, and they could have 4 hearts, they could have 4 spades, they could have both 4 hearts and 4 spades. So because they know that responder either has a game forcing hand, in which case they may have a 4-card major, or if they have less than a game forcing hand, they don't have a 4-card major, opener is allowed and in fact encouraged to suppress their majors at the 1 level, and they would rebid 1 no with the balanced hand. The opponents have a right to know that you're using the Walsh style and that you may be bypassing a 4-card heart suit and or a 4-card spade suit, and so that needs to be announced. So basically, if your partner has reason to believe you have bypassed the 4-card major, your opponent should have that same information, and you deliver that information with an announcement. Post alerts are now mandatory, and this includes control showing bids. So the way post alerts work is that if you have a bid which is alertable and it's above 3-no, and you're after the first round of bidding, so you're in the second round or beyond, that bid isn't alerted immediately. So the thought is that if you're bypassing 3-no and are making some sort of bid which requires an alert, that the alert is going to more benefit your side than help your opponents. So to avoid it helping your side unnecessarily, the alert is delayed until the auction is over. And when the auction concludes, they must be alerted, and that gives the opponents a chance to ask about them. What's changed as of January 1st is that the alerts and explanations are both now mandatory. And furthermore, that control bids are considered in this. So if you make a bid that is looking for slam and shows control, first or second round control, which might be an ace or a king, might be a singleton or a void, If you're making a control showing bid, that needs to be added to your explanations post auctions. So if you have an ace asking bid, king asking bid, queen asking bid, again, those must be a post alert, and you must provide a explanation for those, even if you're not asked. So when you're making the opening lead, and if you think the opponents have a post alert, you shouldn't lead immediately on the conclusion of the auction. You should give your opponents the chance to make their disclosures. Furthermore, the declaring side shouldn't wait to be asked. If they are obligated to disclose when the auction concludes, they should do so. And the disclosure includes the alerts and the explanation. There is no need for your opponents to ask. You are obligated to explain. So here's an example. Here we have a one spade opener and a Jacoby 2-no response. Now, the Jacoby 2-no response requires an alert because it's an artificial game forcing raise. And because you're not above 3-no and because you're in the first round of bidding, it is not a post alert. You alert the 2-no immediately. The traditional meaning of opener's 3-heart rebid is that it shows shortness. There certainly are better methods than the traditional methods. I have an article on Jacoby 2-no that you can find if you just Google Loeb, L-O-E-B, and Jacoby 2-no. You'll find the article on bridge winners. But there are better methods, but that's beside the point. So if you play the traditional methods, the 3-heart bid shows heart shortness, a singleton or a void, and that requires a alert. It's not a post alert. It must be alerted, and if the opponent's asked, you would explain it as showing heart shortness. Now, responders for club bid requires a delayed alert, and the reason for that is that you're above 3-no and you're in the second round of bidding or beyond. So that is a delayed alert. You don't alert the bid when you make it. You will disclose it and explain it at the conclusion of the auction. The same for openers 4-heart bid. Both the 4-club and the 4-heart bid are control bids. So they're showing first or second round control of clubs in terms of responders 4-club rebid. And opener is showing first or second round control of hearts with their 4-heart bid. And if their style is to bid first and second round controls up the line, then opener's 4-heart bid has denied a diamond control, because if you're bidding first and second round controls up the line. Now that is a negative inference, so you don't need to fully explain that. The opponents would need to ask your style, but you are obligated to disclose that the 4-heart bid shows first or second round control of hearts. The 4-no bid is either Blackwood or Roman key card, depending on your partnership agreements. But that is an expected meaning. Doesn't require a post alert, but the response requires an alert. So the 5-heart bid, in this case, it shows 2 key cards and no spade king, no spade queen, because they're playing Roman key card. That must be explained. The 6-spade bid that places the contract, that is natural and requires no explanation. So in this example, you have the 4-club and 4-heart bids being explained as control showing bids, the 5-heart bid being explained as showing 2 key cards and denying the spade queen. So that's an example of what the disclosures obligations are for the post alerts. And again, if you're going to be leading against the 6-spade contract, you should declare a few seconds to start their explanations of the post alerts on the auction. So thank you for taking the time to listen to the new alert and announcement procedures. If you have any questions, you can send them to the North Orlando Bridge Center or to my personal email. The North Orlando Bridge Center offers games for 299ers at 10:05 Monday through Saturday, and open games at 12:25 Monday through Saturday. Hope you find the new alert and announcement procedures to be beneficial, and we encourage you to start using them in your play. Thanks, and take care all.